of Indian students choosing to study abroad in Canada have been increasing over the last few years for many reasons. The recent tension between the two countries is now causing parents and students to ask some new questions. What does it mean for students preparing today to study abroad next year and Canada being one of the choices for them? What does it mean for students who are already studying in Canada and who are looking to enter the job market? What does it mean across undergraduate and postgraduate study disciplines? So we're speaking now to Ayush Bansal. Ayush is the founder of iDream Careers, a career counseling company. And we're talking about the impact the recent news on Canada has had with students who are currently preparing for going abroad next year. And we'll also talk about students who are probably studying in Canada right now. So Ayush, welcome. And to get started, I think would just like to put in context the numbers that you are seeing. So you've mentioned before how most students have been applying for going abroad, but specifically for Canada, how have you seen the numbers?
So if you look at the numbers, a staggering almost a million student, almost 10 lakh students will be going abroad next year, right? And out of that, approximately 25% of them will be going to Canada specifically. And if you look at historical numbers, last year about 220,000 students went to Canada alone. And overall, about 320,000 Indian students are there in Canada with study visa. So, it's a huge surge, especially post the COVID. There was a dip in COVID, but the surge, coming back out of COVID has been really, really big. Yeah.
I think the question, a lot of the students right now who are preparing, who are basically this year they're completing their 12th, right? So they will be applying this year and they'll be going to college next year. Many of them would be applying to Canada colleges. So, when they are thinking through their application process, what are the questions you are hearing, Ayush, and what should they keep in mind during this time?
Right. So, I think the current impact of the current crisis and the entire political and diplomatic issue, I think the impact has not been really huge as of now, is what we are seeing. And it's too early to really kind of say that there is a very negative impact of it. Um, Students who are looking to go next year, either for undergraduation or post graduation, definitely have time and space right now to change their plan. And one advice that we are trying to give is that keep one country and couple of universities as a backup option. People who are going next year in the fall intake, especially, can make those plans and can make those changes right now.
And I think this is probably more technical, Ayush, but given the kind of requirements Canada would have, so what's the easiest in terms of, a backup college or a country? Is it more, like you mentioned, other European countries?
So if I would look at kind of a less challenging application process, definitely UK and other European countries would be much more easier. Even keeping certain options in Singapore or Hong Kong would not be a bad idea either. But yeah, if you look at keeping couple of options in US and you've not planned for it, definitely that will be a bit challenging, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not that it's not doable, but definitely that will be a bit more challenging. And you have to see where you stand in your readiness right now for your Canadian application, if you'd have that kind of space to really give in and apply to US as well.
People who are already there in Canada, studying in colleges, maybe graduating this year, next year, given what we're hearing about visas, etc., what do you think is the kind of outlook there? So I mean, is it because earlier Canada used to give a lot of options for post-work employment kind of opportunities, right? And a lot of people prefer Canada for that reason. Do you see any impact on that?
See, there are two things over there, which we have to look. One is that, obviously, the current situation is leading to a issue of safety, right? And parents or Indian people who are there are thinking about their safety issues right now and getting the work visa. But if you look at the larger issue, right, wherein the entire recommendation of Canadian education, which was given to a lot of Indian students, have not really held it strong when they've reached there, right? The university agent model didn't really help them in guiding effectively, or the approach of guidance was so biased, right? And the entire housing crisis, the unemployment crisis right now are much more larger issue than the current issue if you look at it. students need to put in more effort and time to really think through the right course, and unfortunately, in that entire Punjab, population going to Canada right now, even for education. I don't know if you know, but in the last 1 year, there have been almost 20 to 25 suicides happening, right, of Indian students who have been in Canada, right? Because they have taken a lot of huge of loans, they have sold their agriculture lands, ancestral lands, properties, and what not to go there and study. But after going there, you have not been able to get a job at all.
Thank you so much for listening. That's what we have today at ET Careers Gen Next. We'll come back to you soon with more questions that need answers around careers of today and tomorrow.